the Smite Oceania Pro League week number 5, day number 2, proudly brought to you by Plantronics and Rockout. I am Husey, and joining me today is going to be Nightfall.
Hey Husey, yeah, like you mentioned, week 5, day 2 of the Oceanic League. We're here, and again, I just want to say it this time as well. Plantronics and Rockout, I mean, the first sponsors of the Pro League, and it's absolutely amazing. Headsets from Plantronics are going to go to the winners, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Our first matchup of today, though, Direwolves versus Invidious. Now, this one's been pretty anticipated, hasn't it?
It certainly has been. Direwolves tied first at the moment with Avant, who did take out the Chiefs yesterday, so the Chiefs going to be falling to that third spot, and Invidious looking to try and take out spot number 4. It doesn't really matter much the third and fourth position in the Pro League. It's only going to be the top 2 that are going to PAX. Third and fourth position that are going to PAX will be determined in the Challengers Cup tournament. But Invidious, if they want to showcase their strength as being that 4th place team, or even the 3rd place team, need to show up today against Direwolves and hopefully take a game for them to prove that to the rest of the scene. Let's hit into our picks and bans now. Nightfall, what do you expect to see coming out of Direwolves?
Coming out of Direwolves, interesting. So, I feel like they might target the usual strategy of Odin, Scylla, Thor. Maybe take away one of those powerhouses that Invidious are really strong for with that team composition. And Mason is so strong on Thor, absolutely amazing Thor player. So I'm expecting to see something like that from the Direwolves, but Ares banned away.
Yeah, so Ares going to be the first ban out of Invidious. I guess it's the old myth, or not really a myth, it's just the old tale of Richard Carl's Ares being super strong. Whether it's worth a first ban, probably not. This is probably Invidious having a draft strategy where they ban out something that's like decent but not great first overall, so that way they could secure themselves at least one really good pick with that first overall selection.
Yeah, so Blona now the return ban away. Interesting. Blona, while she hasn't really stood out that much in the Pro League, in the North American or European Pro League, as it was picked up, but the win rate is actually quite low. I'm not too sure on the numbers, but I remember watching and it just didn't stand out. But I mean, obviously they're afraid of it if they do want to ban it out.
I guess because Bologna is that kind of control character, Invidious really likes to play, they could put her in either solo or jungle, and it's going to do work there. And maybe it's because Bologna is anti the team comp Direwolves wants to draft. Like Direwolves may want to draft a very heavy auto-attacking comp. We can see our next 2 bans are going to be Athena and Thor. Now, the Athena ban, really intelligent from Invidious. Direwolves play it very well, either in support and jungle. It's probably El Chuckles' favorite jungle god.
Yeah, and definitely his strongest as well. He absolutely performs so well on it as soon as he gets it. Last week he went, what was it, like 11-0? Maybe the week before? Absolutely amazing Athena player, and in the jungle as well. He just plays so well. First pick coming through though, it's gonna be Sylvanas.
That is a very smart pickup from Invidious. Strategy's paid off. They've gotten that really strong first pick that they want. Sylvanas is a support that can just do so much for your team. He's not only a sustain character that allows you to siege towers, but he's also control, in that he's got a root, he's got a pull, he's got a knock-up with his Wrath of Terror, provides so many forms of CC for your team. If you combine it with something else, like a Scylla, which is something that Invidious likes to play, it's a very good pickup.
Oh, no doubt, no. And now the return picks. Isis and Neath for the Direwolves. Interesting pickups as the first picks. I mean, Giannis was open.
Giannis was open. Direwolves don't value Giannis that highly or don't play him as much. Isis, however, I really like her as a mage. I think she's one of the strongest mages in the game right now. Once again, provides control with the Spirit Ball, provides objective secure, which is something that mages really need in this new meta with her Circle of Protections. Her Silence, I think, is one of the most undervalued skills in the game, as it also reduces magical protections. Looking towards the Neath pick, it's something safe for the team. It provides Peel, if you want to look towards a more hyper carry in the jungle. Provides a lot of damage as well with her Spirit Arrow, and sustain in lane.
Yeah, that wave clear coming through as well early game, and like you mentioned, again, the sustain and the World Weaver, all such powerful things. The first 2 picks coming through are so strong from the Direwolves, but the return pick is Giannis for Invidious.
Yeah,
the Scylla.
and a Hunbats as well.
Yeah.
So the Hunbats and Sylvanas work together really well, with big circles overlapping, obviously creates a large area of control. Janus, I feel, is going to be a lot of utility, especially for this Hunbats. Getting this Hunbats to be even more mobile than what he already is, getting him around the map, particularly to duo and solo lanes with the through space and time, and then allowing Hunbats to use his Fear No Evil to get some picks there. Geb as well now picked up from Direwolves.
Yeah, so much control from all of these picks coming through from both teams. I mean, Sylvanas, Isis, Neith, Giannis, Hunbats, and Gib, all of them have such great CC. And I'm interested to see these other ones come through. Apollo and now Circuit banned away.
I like the Circuit ban because Invidious have banned that away from Direwolves who have Geb. Now, Geb is a pretty hard counter to Circuit. His Stone Shield counters a lot of her abilities, and so they don't want El Chuckles to play that in the jungle. Other than Athena, Circuit's probably his second best jungler. We saw him in week 1 against Law Gaming go something crazy like 10-0, 11-0,
Yeah.
just big score lines that he likes to put up. And so taking that away is really good. The Apollo ban is a target ban to Rana Brana. It's one of his favorite ADCs, and I think since he doesn't have it, we're probably going to see something along the lines of maybe an Ula.
Yeah, he played Ula, was it last week? I'm pretty sure it was last week, and he's absolutely amazing at hitting every single ability. Coming from the mid lane to the AD carry, playing a caster AD carry, he's much, much better at that because of his roots in the mid lane. Coming through now, the next pick for the Direwolves is going to be Bastet, and would that be a solo Bastet?
It depends.
Yada
It's going to be a
no.
flex. It's going to be a flex. It's going to depend on what the solo lane picks are from Invidious, because Yada can play it solo and Chuckles can play it in the jungle. And look at these next picks coming out. Odin and Gibalanke. Odin going to be going the way of top notch in the solo. Isis is in a lot of trouble here. Combining the Odin with a Sylvanas and a Hornbites, that's so much CC for Isis, and Isis doesn't really have an escape. She's got her Wing Gust to give her movement speed, but she doesn't have like a Scylla Sentinel to get out, or an just something of that nature. So a combat blink may be necessary for Isis to get out of Odin cages, where she's just going to be absolutely demolished by Janus and Hunbats. And we can see our final pick is going to be Ao Kuang.
Ao Kuang. What?
That's
Why
smart.
did this make it to the last pick? Why was this not banned?
It's really surprising to see it last picked, but it's a smart last pick from Direwolves because Bastet is a counter to Ao Kuang. And so now that they take Bastet, they're like, oh, we can just take Ao Kuang as well. And so I feel like it's going to be Bastet in the... No, I think it'll be
Jungle?
Ao Kuang in the solo and Bastet jungle. I think.
Yeah.
Because magical damage from Ao Kuang is really, really intense. And I think it suits Yada's playstyle just a little bit better than the Bastet necessarily does, especially against an Odin. Either of them are very good picks in Odin because they both can get out of his cage and get away from a lot of his damage. I think Ao Kuang's Blink teleport on his 1 is a little bit better of dodging bird bombs though.
Yeah, it's interesting. Bastet and Ao Kuang. I mean, both of them could be in the solo lane or the jungle, but and Yada's known for both of them.
Yep.
So I'm really interested to see how this one goes down, but the team composition, so much control, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, look at these team compositions. There's so much CC on both sides and lockdown in the form of that Odin as well. So it's going to be an absolute bloodbath based on these picks and bans. But Husey, we're going to jump straight into this game, guys. We are going to have a very short break while we go straight into game number 1 of week number 2. Week number 5, day number 2 of Direwolves vs Invidious. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the game between Invidious and the Direwolves. Invidious is looking very strong with their team comp. They've got that Odin pick, which they prioritize so highly.
Yeah, so again, from the pick and ban, so much control coming out, and that's really what I'm going to look at. Top Notch really has to land those great Ring of Spears onto the people without dashes, and that is Richie Castle and Kiki Omiyo.
Yeah,
Laney can backflip, Chuckles can jump, Yada can blink.
It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Kiki Omiyo is going to have to be especially careful in the mid lane, as you mentioned, but as these teams start to get set up, let's go ahead and introduce them. So fighting out of the bottom side of your map, left side of your spectator UI, we have got Invidious. Top Notch is in the solo lane as Odin. Freemason is in the jungle on Hunbutts. Just Rogue is your mid lane, God of Portals Giannis. Nick Creek and Rana will make up your duo lane as Sylvanas and Jibalanke.
And on the Chaos side of the map, out of the solo lane on Ao Kwang, it's going to be Yada. And on the team of Direwolves in the jungle, it's going to be Al Chuckles. Mid lane is going to be Kiki Omiyo, and his brother will be at support as Gib. And Just Laney will be supported as the AD carry of Neath.
Take a look at Chuckles and Kiki Omiyo. They've both popped our pots at the start of the game, so they're going to be doing a lot of early damage. This is something that Direwolves are noted for, is this early aggression. But the power pot side is something new.
Yeah. It was something that he actually tried it last week and it actually worked out very, very well. But Just Rogue went straight to the mid lane. Did he helped with the speed buff? The regular start that we've been seeing, so he's going to have a bit more XP than Kiki.
Yeah, he will, but Kiki's going to benefit from the back camp experience, and now, as well as that, the right side mid camp. I believe Direwolves took the left side as well. No, they did the back camp. No, Invidious took it. Direwolves did back camp.
Okay, and then the Direwolves just took right ones as we saw just there. And now do you reckon we'll have a little bit of aggression? I mean, Bastet is known for that early aggression.
Oh, of course. They've got power pots online, as if you wouldn't be exploiting it this early on.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm really keen for the first explosion, first blood coming out. And Yada on Ao Kwang versus Top Notch on Odin. This lane matchup, I mean, right off the bat, we see that Top Notch has got Emerald Talisman. He's going to be building into that Stone of Gaia. He's going for the sustain route.
He'll need to against an Ao Kwang, output a lot of damage, and it gives him some extra sustain in lane that Odin just doesn't typically have. He's got the Bird Bomb, of course, to take damage away from minions, but you really want to be using that offensively. Top Notch actually getting some early hits onto Yada here, but you'd expect the lane to go that way with an Odin against an Ao Kwang. One extremely late game, one extremely early game. Let's take a look at a duo side matchup now. Talk to me about the Transcendence on Jibalanke.
And Transcendence, I mean, it gives 90 power in the late game. At level 20, you can add full stacks as well. So it's the highest. Oh wow, they're going to go aggressive. There's a poison darts onto Richie Castle. It's going to slow him up, but he's in the rollout. He knocks back Nick Crick, but nothing coming out from there. And I mean, his mid game is going to be strong, but not unless he can get some kills online.
Yeah, the passive stacks of Jibalanke are extremely important. We saw Subfloor yesterday, quite a number of them from early kills around the Gold Fury, and that really enabled him to be a mid-game carry rather than just a late-game carry, which is what Jibalanke typically is. Whereas the Neath, she's gone kind of the opposite route, the Devourer's Gauntlets. Usually we see Neath with Transcendence, but Just Laney really likes the Devourer's Gauntlets Neath.
Yeah, and he sort of has to build it as well, because he's against that Sylvanas, and Sylvanas is going to be able to use that Wisps and keep Barana alive for much longer, whereas, I mean, Just Laney, he could have gone Transcendence and sustained with the Unravel, but opted not to this game.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, the Devourer's Gauntlets is such a great life-stealing item.
Yeah, no doubt, and it looks like a little bit of aggression. Here's Al Chuckles jumping in. He's level 5, he's got the cats if he wants to use them. There's the Ring of Spears down onto Yada, forced away. Very nice blink, and through space 9 comes through.
I'm really surprised Yada didn't stick around and try and get him low enough for the execute. Or we can see Darkest of Nights popped out by Rana. Richard Castle extremely low, but just hides behind his tower here. Ooh, it looks like Invidious was going for something there, but didn't want to tower dive again.
Back in the solo lane, there was the cat's pop? No, that was just a pounce in by Al Chuckles, trying to get a little bit of poke down, but nothing too massive coming through. I mean, no first blood in 3 minutes into this game. Are we watching the right region?
Yeah, this looks like an EU game at this point. Just back to that solo lane dive by Yada. A couple of more hits would have taken down Top Notch to execute range, but he may not have had enough mana for his execute ultimate, and so he would have been sitting there like, I don't have enough mana. I'm actually going to die under this tower. So it was really smart knowing what his limits were.
Yeah, and that's something Yada is very, very... He plans... He looks at a situation and he goes, what can I get out of this? And if it's not in his favor, he won't go in.
That's just typical Direwolves play overall, I feel. If we actually look at Freemason now, he's gone for his speed buff here with this Hun Butts. How much do you think he's going to be rotating now that he's post level 5?
As much as possible, off down. He needs to use that. He needs to use that Fear No Evil as much as possible. As soon as it comes off cooldown, he needs to be using it again and being in position. So he's Humbats as well. I mean, his mobility is so high without a speed buff. So it's going to be interesting to see.
He's in the mid lane now with Nick Crick and Just Rogue. Going to go for some camps at this point. Both Just Laney and Rana Brana have started their stacking items. It's going to be interesting to see this duo lane matchup play out, particularly with one. Actually, both characters are going to be able to sustain fairly decently. I just feel like Neat's really going to have this early game.
Yeah, and she's already at 10 stacks of the Devourers. That's such a hard word. Div gloves there when Runner Brana is at 0. Oh wow, Nick Crick taking so much damage in the mid lane from that Razor Whip and Spirit Ball. Wing Gust combo from Isis.
Yeah, Bastet's poke damage and tick damage early on is something that a lot of people underrate and really pay for their mistakes when they don't appreciate how much she can actually do to them.
Yeah, and it's so scary. I mean, early game Bastet really do not want anything to do with that, and I'm really keen to see how Invidious try to fight this off in the early game. I mean, this is such a passive game. 6 minutes and no first blood.
I have a feeling things are going to heat up soon as Top Notch makes a rotation to mid lane. And if he can get a Ring of Spears down into Kiki Omiya, that is what's going to be kind of the full-on commit from Invidious. Pour everything onto Kiki Omiya. We can see Darkest of Nights pop now. There's a through space and time. It looks like they're trying to get some aggression onto Yada, who blinks through the spear wall. Nick Crick goes for a blind pull as Yada was still invisible at this point. World Weaver comes through just to get some of that aggression off, but nothing going to happen here. Richard Castle, oh my goodness, he knocked Just Rogue on the tower. There's a Fear No Evil from Freemason. Get his team away. That was a great play as he just saved Just Rogue, but paid for it with his life there as Kiki Omiya hits him with the Wing Gusts.
Yeah, and Top Notch is going to jump away. He's so in trouble. 3 versus 2. Crick out of mana. He's forced to run away. Here's Richard Castle. He's got the rollout onto Top Notch. It won't land. There is a Spirit Ball. But can the silence land to stop him from lunging away from that damage? I mean, he's not going to. He's just going to walk away with the shield. And first blood for Direwolves off that one.
That was good plays by both teams. Mason did what he needed to get his mid laner out of there, but then ended up paying for it with his own life. So he essentially traded one kill for another. Nonetheless, it was a great play by him. He put down that Fear No Evil perfectly, got all of the Direwolves moving in the opposite direction, but at that point he should have just gotten out instead of looking for more aggression. And now Direwolves look like they want to take away this blue buff.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Invidious, no. Nick Crick is out of mana, so he won't be able to do anything in this fight, and Direwolves, they're just not going to opt to do that one. I mean, it was sort of free, but now they're putting their resources elsewhere. Just Rogue, will he portal through the wall? He still got stunned up, but was in range of the portal. He was going to get away there, and the mid-camps go to the Direwolves.
Mid-camps obviously going to be important in this game, as they are in all games. The experience and gold from them hasn't been valued as much in this kind of second half of Season 2. In the earlier stages, we saw 3 minutes, that was where our first fights was going to be. People were going to be going to mid-camps, people were going to be contesting them. Now that they fall so early and they've got basically anywhere between 10 seconds and a minute for someone to take them, which is when they're typically gone, people just don't value them as highly, but the impact they have on the game hasn't changed.
Yeah, and take a look at the graphs. I mean, it's 5k gold in favor of Direwolves, and they've just had mid-camp favor. They're in control of all of these mid-camps except for one right at the start where Invidious got them, and they're so far ahead already. I mean, the only other thing was a few assists for that first blood and the first blood itself.
And the biggest difference is obviously going to be felt in the mid lane. We can see Kikyo Mio is 2 levels above Just Rogue. He's almost 1,000 gold ahead at this point.
Wow. He is farming so efficiently. That's absolutely amazing to see. And he started off, he's going for that Book of Thoth.
Yeah, that's a really smart item. You get a lot of mana to use as well as power off the back of that mana. And you want to be using your abilities a lot as an Isis because the Spirit Ball, not only can it set up really well for your team, but it ends up doing a lot of damage as you get towards the mid and later stages of the game, as well as that Circle of Protection. You want to be using that for objective skewers, and you want to obviously have the mana to use that.
Yeah, and something that Adana said at the NA Pro League today was when an Isis has a Soul Reaver, it becomes a Spirit Bomb instead of a Spirit Ball. It deals so much damage, especially at max range when it's got that 1.5 times damage on it. It's absolutely insane.
Let's take a look towards our supports now. Both of them going the Watcher's Gifts, Traveler's Shoes combination. What do you think the reasoning is behind those?
Traveler's Shoes and, sorry, which was it?
Watcher's Gifts, the supports.
Yeah, so that was something we saw yesterday, was a Mark of Vanguard instead. So Watcher's Gift, they really, really want to farm. Watcher's Gift and Traveler's Shoes, so good for farming. Traveler's Shoes gets you to the farm as quick as possible, and then Watcher's Gift allows you to share that around. So they really, really want that gold as soon as possible.
I understand it on the Geb, but I don't understand it on the Sylvanas. Like, surely you want the cooldown boots there to be using your abilities, your heal, your root, your pull as often as possible. Geb, I understand the farming because you want to get to that late game so quickly, because that's when Geb is basically the best support in the game.
Yeah, scaling up his Stone Shield, of course, going to give him much more health on it. And, wow, is this a little bit of aggression coming out? No. Both teams, this is so strange, seeing an Oceanic game and they're not fighting each other as soon as they see each other.
It's 10 minutes and we've only got 1 kill. This seems very strange, especially in the context of yesterday's games. Like, Avant and Chiefs were just fighting all the time.
Yeah, is that a Gold Fury start? That is a Gold Fury start for the Dials. I mean, they've got the damage for it as well, but Invidious have caught on.
It's going to be a bait, though. Nick Crick forced to use the Wrath of Terror to try and get himself up there. Here comes Freemason in the back line, uses the Fear No Evil. Richard Castle awfully low. Here comes the through space and time, but it's not going to do anything terribly much. Freemason's in the back line. He's looking for a kill, but he gets so low himself. Kikyo Mio takes him down with a Wingdust. Rana Brana is able to portal through on the backside of that, but here's Garda.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to secure that one. No, Just Lane, he steals it with an Unravel. Now they're going to go active onto Just Rogue. He goes through the portal, though, and that's the power of Giannis. And this is the Gold Fury starting for the Direwolves after they lost. It was a 2 for nothing for the Direwolves. I
thought Kikyo Mio was surely dead there. Like, yeah. Freemason was just 1 auto attack away.
Yeah, it was extremely low, but somehow still survived. And that's Direwolves just being there for each other, supporting each other through the entire fight. And at the same time, Top Notch was over there in the solo lane. Whereas, was that a teleport from Yada? It was a teleport from Yada. Still no teleport for the side of Top Notch. He wasn't able to be involved.
That's really surprising, given Top Notch's playstyle really likes to be there. Team fights of his team rotated in a little bit late as the Odin, where his style is he wants to be there from the start and set up for his team rather than necessarily kind of counter-engage.
Yeah, so I'm still a bit confused as to why he wasn't there. I mean, as a Gold Fury, he sort of really needed to be there, and the only thing that Top Notch did was get a bit of damage down on that solo lane tower.
It was negligible amount as well. If it had been the tower, it might have been worth, but it wasn't there, and it ended up costing his team.
Yeah. And now the Direwolves are going to take an even further lead of 4.1k gold and 3.7k XP. So, not looking good for Invidious early game here.
No, it's not, and that's really where they wanted to be having more of this aggression. Like, Odin, obviously, a very early game god, and we can see Dark Knight coming into the left-hand side. Just Lane, it looks like he's going to die here, and down he goes. Freemason credited with that kill.
And he's going to be able to spread that gold now he's going to be able to afford more items and then spread it across the rest of the map. Hopefully he can gank another lane, have more of an impact on that other lane, and then keep... Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the mid lane. I mean, just Rogue. really needs that help. He's 2 levels behind still of Kikyo.
They haven't punished Kikyo enough in their team composition. Like, the Odin is a perfect pick against the Isis because in his Ring of Spears, healing's reduced, so even if Circle of Protections is popped, it can't heal Kikyo back up.
Yeah.
As well as that, you've got the Fear No Evil to come online there as well. I just haven't seen enough rotations out of Top Notch, which is something extremely odd to say because that's the kind of playstyle that he has.
Yeah, and he really needs to make use of it because it's like you said, he's the setup for the team. He really needs to be rotating here, but he's just going for the farm and the tower in that solo lane, and at the same time we see Al Chuckles. Is he looking for a bit of aggression down onto Netcrypt? No, I mean the amount of passiveness coming out in this game it's so strange, so strange.
It's a little bit of wariness on the side of Direwolves not wanting to give up extra kills, anything like that to Invidious. And on Invidious, it's just recognizing the skill of their opponent and respecting that. We can see Just Laney actually zoning out Rana Barana at this point. If we take a look at their iris, we can see Just Laney's completed his Ichabod.
Ikaval versus a
Bruce Mason
wow.
is coming out into the solo lane, a fight breaking out there. Fear No Evil, Chuckles is in trouble here, pops the catch. Spirit Ball from Kikyo comes out, as well as a good Stone Shield from Richard Castle, but down falls Chuckles to Rogue. Yada gets a kill onto Freebase. There's a Circle of Protections, and down goes Netcrypt. Invidious not having a great time here.
No, and Top Notch, will he go down? Who's going to be able to secure that one? Double kill for Yada. Going to secure that one up, and now it's the solo lane tower in the sights of Direwolves. Ooh. That was a very nice fight there by the Direwolves, and both 80 carries, both have global ultimates where they can have an impact in that solo lane, so they didn't need to be there to be able to be useful in that.
But nonetheless, they still, as you mentioned, were going to make an impact. The World Weaver did come through, slow down some of Invidious's aggression there. Direwolves there played that one very, very well. They counter-engaged exactly how they needed to. They saw the through space and time come out. They backed off to kind of get themselves all on one side of Invidious, and then just played it to perfection. Kikyo's Spirit Balls in that fight were on point. He hit both of them. Just Laney going to take down Rana Barana under his own tower there. Very nicely paid there from the 80 carry of Direwolves.
Yeah, and that's that Ikaval, like you mentioned before. Oh wow, bit of aggression going down in the solo lane. Just Rogue, he's going to be in so much trouble. The silence doesn't land. Does he have a portal? Nope, that's going to be the Spirit Ball securing that one up. And that's a slow now onto Netcrypt. Bit of poke damage coming through from the Wind Gust. And here's a Fear No Evil from Freemason, getting so much damage down onto Kiki, but forced to jump away anyways. And now Top Notch is here.
This is where we're going to see Kikyo pay. There's the Ring of Spears. Ki extremely low. Top Notch just finishes him off with a hit of his spear, but now he's trapped within his own spiral. Netcrypt pulls Yada about 2 feet, blinks through, does the solo laner, looking for some aggression back on. He realizes he's dead here and just trying to output as much damage as possible. Top Notch gets the kill there. Dark of the Night was also used probably a little bit unnecessarily.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of an overstay there for the Direwolves. And they were just low on everything. And all of the cooldowns of the ultimates for the Invidious came back up, and oh, that's a bit of aggression coming through from Top Notch onto Al Chuckles, but he's Al Chuckles, he's still level 13. Oh wow, that's actually 2 levels behind Top Notch. These level advantages are all over the place throughout all lanes.
I mean, we could take a look at our graphs now, and we could see it's a 6,600 XP difference in favor of Direwolves and about a 5,400 gold difference. So definitely taking the best advantage they can out of these fights, converting it into farm across the map.
Oh, indeed, and they're playing it so well. And Blue Steel coming through for Invidious. Was that a secure? Richard Castle just stole it with the shockwave. Oh wow, that was perfect timing.
I don't know how Invidious did secure that one. Like, they have an Odin there with the Bird Bomb jump. I can just jump on it to secure it.
I think that was on cooldown. He used it to start it up.
Well, you shouldn't have used it to start it up then.
Yeah. Richard Castle though, props to him. Perfect timing, able to secure that one for Yada, and denies that aggression, that XP for Invidious. Now the Gold Fury started up. Wow. Still
yeah,
no
well, they
ward
saw
coverage.
Well, they saw all of Invidious back over at the blue buff on the right side. So like, hey, we could just do this. But if Janice is here, Just Roy could look to steal it. But goodness, the burst coming out from Kikyo in that circle of protections just eliminates that gold view, and now Netcrypt is a bit out of position. Richard Castle knocks him into a wall beautifully, and now a through space and time comes out. This looks like it's going to be a big fight. Fear No Evil onto Chuckles, who doesn't make it across the wall. Stone Shield there protecting him up. There's a Ring of Spears onto Kikiomeo, and he is going to pay. He uses the Aegis, and his rest of his team comes, but Top Notch picks up the kill here.
Yeah, and now that's just the only kill from that. I mean, Invidious are just backing off. They should still be aggressing, but they can't because Freemason is low and everything is on cooldown right now. Literally every single ultimate, they have nothing to secure a kill other than a few abilities, but just Laney, nearly gets rooted up there, and that was a 1 for Gold Fury, so still in favor of the Direwolves there.
Yeah, both Gold Furies thus far in the match going away the Wolfpack. And Invidious, they really need to start looking at this map and having some control on there. They've got 1 sentry ward defensively on their mid lane, which, you know, is all right. You don't want to be getting ganks on there. You do have a Janus, though, who's got a little bit more escapability than a lot of other mid laners. I would prefer to see a more offensive sentry ward. We could see Direwolves have got the Gold Fury warded up. They've got a normal ward defensively, and they've got sentry wards elsewhere across the map, really allowing them to roam freely.
Indeed, and just the wall control coming from the Direwolves has been on point for this entire game. So something I want to point out is the Pythagorean's piece for just Rogue. The only other magical damage on the team is Nitcrick. Do you think that the Aura passive was worth it?
I don't know if he's necessarily going for it for the passive. It is applied to himself, so essentially he's getting 90 magical power, 25% lifesteal, which is a lot. And as well as that, you get cooldown reductions, so it's going to allow him to use his abilities more often. So he knew he needed lifesteal. He just wanted something that gives him cooldown reduction alongside that. So I do agree with the item choice there.
Yeah, so Just Rogue is known for building Bancroft Talon. Oh, we see a little bit of aggression coming through. Top Notch does get silenced up. There's a Ring of Spears going down. Fear No Evil as well. There's a Circle of Protection. It won't keep Kikiomeo alive as he goes down. Yada secures a kill onto Freemason, and he can assassinate 2 members. World Weaver came through. Double kill for Yada. And now the aggression continues onto Just Rogue, but he's got a portal out of there.
He does. Brana gets a kill onto El Chuckles in the backside of that, though. His own tower, Just Laney, came through from his Titan to try and get something with the World Weaver, but Just Rogue is still being chased by Yada at this point, who hasn't used his execute. He gets through. Oh no, he body blocked him out of the portal!
Oh, that's gotta be painful for Just Rogue. Oh no, very well played the Yada though. He's now 5-1 and 4 on an Ao Kuang.
Oh, that is not a good game plan to feed an Ao Kuang. That was tremendous. He body blocked him out of his own portal.
Yeah, and that's so hard to get correct now. Will he be taken down? Yes, he will. Just Laney secures that one, and wow. Direwolves, they're playing so well. And Invidious, while they are getting return kills, Direwolves are making the best trades.
While Invidious is getting kills, they're not getting kills where they can then press an advantage of it. So they're getting kills kind of at the start of team fights, but then Direwolves is taking like 2 kills for the one that Invidious gets. And what that allows Direwolves to do is to go and take a back camp here or there, secure a mid camp, and that is just pushing the XP lead further and further ahead.
Yeah, and that lead now is summed up to 8k gold, 10k XP, and it just seems to be extending further and further and further. The only comeback was that overstay that Direwolves had in the solo lane earlier in this game. No towers down though for Invidious on the side of Direwolves.
No, there's no towers down as you mentioned, but they're getting the solo lane one quite low. Haven't really seen much out of the dual lane. The 2 ADCs have really been fight. Oh my goodness, Top Notch is actually about to die here. Lunges away. Nitcrick is there to provide some heals and a shield as well from Top Notch onto himself. Dai was looking to go hard on this one. Just Laney's here, misses the Spirit Arrow, and now they're just gonna... Are they looking for a tower?
They don't have a minion wave. They're looking for it, but they can't get it. The minion wave isn't there. They got to go back and secure that one, and El Chuckles is going to steal away that blue buff. Yes, it will be almost a Sacred Monkey steal. Gib shield onto El Chuckles as Freemason really wanted to go aggressive. Now just Laney separated from the rest of the team. Invidious looking to try and secure that one, but they can't.
No, they couldn't. Direwolves did take it away from him, as you mentioned. Chuckles took a bit of damage there from the unstable vortex of Just Rogue, but it's basically 5-on-5 here under the tier 2 in the solo lane. Realistically, I think what's going to happen here is Top Notch or Freemason's going to go in, set up a team fight. They're going to look towards it on Kikiomeo. They found success ganking him, and Kikiomeo has got top player damage thus far, and if they could shut him down, get him out of the team fights, it should swing in Invidious's favor.
It very may well, but Diables, I mean, they're just disengaging, going back for the Gold Fury.
And
They
Kiki Amio stole the speed buff there.
did he?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did a
did.
spirit
Oh,
ball through the
wow.
wall.
Very nice pick up there. And Yada, he's going to be on zoning duty. Freemason and Nick Cricker here. Very nice. Spirit Ball is going to get so much damage down onto Freemason. There's a blink in from Richie Castle. It's going to hit 4 members. Fear No Evil and After Terror do go down as well. And now Top Notch is in 5 members worth of trouble as he's trying to get out of there as fast as possible.
But Yada is here. There's a beads from Top Notch. Yada should take him down here. Doesn't hit him with a Wildstorm. Richard knocks him up with the Shockwave. The Bird Bomb is still there. Spirit Bomb from Kiki Mio doesn't connect, but the Wind Gusts will. And that is going to be a kill credit to the Direwolves as everyone in Invidious is kind of dispersed. I bet Top Notch there was just calling, just leave me be, boys. It's my time to go.
It looked like Invidious were hesitant to go in. I mean, it was an amazing initiation from Richard Castle with the Blink Cataclysm, but Invidious didn't really want to fight. It looked like they were anywhere in position or ready for it.
No, they were kind of all came through a very narrow corridor, and that's what allowed Direwolves to start that aggression on them. If we take a look at our player damage here, we could really see what a team effort it's been by the Direwolves. Everyone except for their support is in the top half of player damage. Yada and Kiki Ameo and Just Laney separated by about only 600 player damage from top to bottom, and then El Chuckles isn't that far behind.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at the per minute, and Laney is on top. I mean, he hasn't... Oh, wow, Just Laney gets pulled in, and now aggression in return for Nick Crick, but... Oh, Invidious on the backside of the trades there. Goal per minute, Just Laney's on top, and his score is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, Just Laney is a farm machine and a killing machine as well. He farms up really well, and that allows him to get a lot of aggression onto the rest of the team. It allows him to rotate because he's not missing out on too much farm because he's picking it up elsewhere. A back camp here or there, clearing a wave and then rotating or starting up so many can finish it. But now Top Notch has gone in with a Ring of Spears. 3 ultimates popped at once. Kiki Bear awfully low, can't heal up with Circle Protections. Beautiful Spirit Ball to stun to good plate, and Cataclysm from Richard Castlewell is going to disengage, but Just Rogue hits Kiki Mio in the face with a through space of time. Nick Crick is getting beaten down by the Stone Man of Richard Castle. Portal comes through to try and save him. World Weaver gonna finish him off though, and now Top Notch is between Yada and Richard Castle.
And Richard is... Oh, well. Yada's so close to going down from the Bird Bomb of Top Notch, but he just walks away from that one. And Direwolves only losing Kiki on that one, whereas Invidious lost 2 there. So no, that was just 1.
Once again... No, I think Freemason went down there as well. Top Notch gets a kill onto Yada. So that ends up being a 2 for 2. So good trades back and forth there for both teams. Invidious have done a really good job of adapting in this game, recognizing that Kiki Amio is the one we need to focus in these fights. He's the one we need to be pouring a lot of our stuff into. If we can get him down quick enough, it stops a lot of the rest of the team doing what they want to do because Kiki Amio provides so much of the setup for them. Really, Richard Castle has been kind of the second setup. Kiki Amio has hit a Spirit Ball, then Richard Castle has used a Cataclysm to help secure some more damage.
Yeah, and they're making very, very good use of it. The Direwolves, that is, of the Spirit Ball and Cataclysm combo, and it's catching Invidious off guard. They're not ready for it. They're surprised. They go, oh, that was a very nice initiation with the Cataclysm. What do we do now? And they're out of position, and it means that they can't get... It takes them longer to get into position to then deal their damage, which they can't do because they're dead.
Yeah, I think they're not recognizing, sorry, as well, when Direwolves are baiting, like a couple of times the Gold Furies, Direwolves have started up, but they're not seriously been going for it, and Invidious have just all poured through the corridor, just like, we need to get to this Gold Fury, stop the Gold Fury. Dire was looking at the Fire Giant here, but once again, I suspect it's just a bait, as they have full vision control here. Spirit Ball doesn't connect with Top Notch, who is forced to use his Bird Bomb to prevent some of the tick damage from El Chuckles' cats. And Just Laney's just going to keep poking the Fire Giant, going to get off it now, and Chuckles is looking for Top Notch. I don't think he'll find it. It's going to require some setup, and Richard Castle looks to be the man to do it.
Wow, Laney got so much damage down onto Just Rogue. He's forced to jump away with those portals. Nice Spirit Ball onto Nick Crick. And oh wow, so much damage with that Wind Gust. That was absolutely insane. That was on the support, and it took him down to 30% HP. And is that going to be a Fire Giant startup for the Direwolves?
It could be, now that Just Rogue's... Oh no, Just Rogue is still in the middle lane. And out there, Nick Crick. That's going to prevent a lot of the setup from Invidious, but Top Notch has blinked in here very early on. Doesn't use his Ring of Spears. Great silence there from Kibio. Top Notch could go down. Lunges over the wall, but El Chuckles is going to leap onto him. Yada credited the kill actually through space of time force from Just Rogue just to get him out of aggression. World Weaver comes onto Freemason. Laney picks himself up. Another kill. Nick Crick now is pulling in. Kiki
beautiful grab.
Just Rogue gets him with the Unstable Vortex, but here come the Cats, and Direwolves are still out for more blood. My goodness, the damage onto Nick Crick there was real.
That was so scary. That damage was onto a support, a tanky support. He's got Lotus Crown, he's got Winged Blade and Sovereignty, and he took so much damage from the Direwolves. They're so far ahead. Kiki, that Spirit Ball Wingust combo, absolutely devastating right now. And Shibalanke, will he go down? No, Rana Barana is safe after that one, and Yada taken very low as well. Fire Giant though, it's gonna be in the hands of the Direwolves. Can Just Rogue steal it with a Unstable Vortex? No, he can't. He borders away. And now Direwolves even further in the lead. 10k gold, 14k XP, and a speed buff steal as well, just to top it all off.
I'm a little bit surprised not to see a Pythagorean's piece coming out from Direwolves. We mentioned it on the side of Invidious, but we mentioned they only had really one magical damage dealer. On the side of Direwolves, they've got two in Kikyo, Mio, and Yada. Yada's instead got a Soul Reaver, and he must have prioritized that over some lifesteal. Soul Reaver, though, an extremely good item against the team comp of Invidious. It does 50% of the target's HP when they're hit with an ability, and that's really, really good against an Odin and Sylvanas. Kikyo Miyu, instead of going for the Pythagorean's piece for his lifesteal, has gone to Vine Ruin. Once again, playing it as a counter to the enemy's team composition because the heals from Sylvanas late game are absolutely insane.
Yeah, and Sylvanas heals, like, please. They're so strong, and Kiki, he prioritizes that. He goes, I don't want you sustaining in these fights. We're just gonna burst you out, and you can't heal at all. And with the Fire Giant now, they're gonna be able to burst them out even easier than if, well, obviously, even if they didn't have it. Gold Fury now started for Invidious, but I don't think it's enough, as the Direwolves are circling around this solo lane tower.
Well, if they get the tier 2 tower, it's particularly a Gold Fury. The Gold Fury will give you them a little bit more golden XP at this point, but Dai will be happy to give that one up. They're so far in the lead at this point, a Gold Fury is really not going to matter, and the tier 2 tower probably a little bit more important. If they'd left the Phoenix, that would be an absolute misplay, but Invidious are back here now trying to defend that Phoenix, but Dai was looking towards the tier 2 in the mid. Again, going to work a Gold Fury, just going to get so much gold off the back of this. Top Notch is blinked at this point, Ring of Spears comes down, Circle of Protection as well, and Freemason gets the kill onto Kiki Rio. That is the start to this fight that Invidious needed. Nick Crick gonna go down here. Yada executed, goes up into the sky with the dragon. Chuckles is left through to the backside of the tier 2. Top Notch lunges away under his own tail, but in comes Yada looking for Rana Varana and Just Rogue, but they're not gonna find him off the back of this and gonna grab the tier 2 instead.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to secure that one and back off. Will they back off though? No, they still want to go aggressive. The trade was 1-for-1, but it was a mid laner for a sub, and all of the damage coming through from the Direwolves. Just Laney with that Deathbringer is doing so much damage with those auto attacks. That scary damage coming out.
As you mentioned though, the trade really worth for Invidious. They paid for their support. They paid their support for a mid laner, and not only a mid laner, but a mid laner with the Fire Giant buff on him as well. Yeah,
taking that away was very good for Invidious, but what can they do with it now? I mean, yeah, they took away a Fire Giant, but they can't get any objectives from this. I mean, they got the Gold Fury, but coming back into this game is going to take a lot more than trading 1-for-1.
Realistically though, when the other team's got a Fire Giant and they're 10k head in gold, you can't really find anything off the back of that. The best you can hope for is not to lose a Phoenix, which is what they did there. They didn't lose a Phoenix. They lost their tier 2s. They didn't really contest them. They just went for a fight in the mid lane when they saw an advantageous opportunity, took it. I think it was a really good play there from Invidious.
Good point. Fair enough as well. So 18-10, and like you mentioned, 13k gold. 32 minutes into this game, only one tower down for Direwolves, and Invidious only have Phoenixes and their Titan left. It's going to take a miracle for them to come back into this, but it's going to all come down to this Fire Giant.
Yes, the next Fire Giant is going to be the real point of contention. The buff on the Direwolves is going to be going down in about 30 seconds. What it's going to take is it's going to take another good blink-in spear a Ring of Spears combo from Top Notch, and then securing even more CC onto Direwolves with Freemason and Nitric. What they need to do is they need to pace out their ultimates a little bit better, I feel, because what I see them doing at the moment is they go in there and then they all use their ultimates at once, rather than one going in, using the ultimate, wait a couple of seconds, see if some beads used, then use another ultimate. And then that way, by the time the third one rolls around, there's no beads left to cleanse that CC, and that'll allow more damage to be secured, rather than just focusing it onto one person.
Yeah, they really need to stack all of their CC on each other, not all at the same time like you mentioned. And yeah, I mean, that is a very valid way of them coming back in, but we'll have to see if they're able to do that. Direwolves now taking ward control around this Fire Giant. They're placing those offensive wards. They really, really want to see where Invidious are coming from so they can sit up and fight, but it looks like Invidious really want to fight too.
They need to fight here. Invidious needs to fight here. There's 3 members of Direwolves around. Richard Castle back, Yada back, and look, aggression on Kiki Omio. Just popped there. No circle of protection, got to heal him up. Down he goes to Top Notch. Great engagement there from Invidious. Just back out now, look for another setup.
Yeah, and that was a very, very great... Kiki was by himself, and the Direwolves weren't anywhere close, and it was a nice pick by Invidious to be able to take down the mid lane carry.
Yeah, it was, and there was no Geb around either, so no Stone Shield. Yada wasn't there as well to burst someone down in the backline. The only people there to protect him were Just Laney and El Chuckles. Only Just Laney there really having any kind of recognizable peel in terms of the Spirit Arrow, but yeah, as it just clearly wasn't enough.
It looks like Kiki's going for a Breastplate of Valor. Interesting pickup. He wants that cooldown reduction and more mana for the Book of Thoth to be able to convert that into more power as well. So the armor will also come in handy against Top Notch and Rana Barana too.
Well, it makes sense because he's not the only source of magical damage on the team. He can afford to not go a full damage build since they have Yada who's going to be doing that, and he can look to be more of the setup for his team or objective secure, and he needs some survivability in these fights. He recognizes that Top Notch is the one that's doing a lot of the damage to him with the Ring of Spears and then the Bird Bomb combo, as well as Freemason as well on the Hun Butts. So it's a very smart pickup from Kiki Omio. As you mentioned, mana going to be converted into magical power as well, so it's not as if he's just completely trading out power here, and the cooldown reduction as well is going to be great for him.
Yeah, he's going to be able to send out more spores more often. So, Fire Giant started off again. Is this a bait? There's a ward there, so Invidious know it's started. Top Notch is running interruption against the Direwolves, so...
It's just a bait. It's just a bait. Direwolves, they weren't happy that Kiki Omio got picked off there. They're going to be looking for a fight here on their terms. Spirit Ball doesn't connect as Richard Castle knocks up Nick Crick. Back goes Freemason at this point, and now would be a good time for Direwolves to fight without that Fear No Evil there, disrupt anything that they want to do. Wrath of Terror and Ring of Spears are online. In fact, everyone's ultimates are online here, and it looks like some aggression's being started around the Fire Giant.
They really, really want to go aggressive. That's Invidious there. There's a nice lunge in. Just Laney, will he be taken down? Yes, he gets absolutely deleted. Nick Crick secures a kill onto Kiki Omio. Who does the Fire Giant go to?
Invidious got
it. The way of...
Oh,
wow.
no, yeah, Invidious got it.
It's so confusing. And Rana Barana dealing so much damage to Yada as well. Just Rogue coming back. He's going to try and get out of there. No, he won't be able to walk straight into El Chuckles. He picks up that kill. And now Rana Barana by himself.
That was a great steal from Invidious. I believe Top Notch got that with the Bird Bomb onto the Fire Giant. Rana Barana just got deleted there by Yada and El Chuckles.
And both teams' carries are now down. So the only ones with Fire Giant are the jungler, support, and solo laner for Invidious. So that was a really good trade, I think, for the side of Direwolves. But the steal from Invidious...
the Fire Giant. Should have got the Fire Giant.
Yep.
Circle of Protection was there. I just don't think that they saw too much coming around the backside of the Fire Giant.
Is that where he came from? I mean,
yeah,
the Bird Bomb, that's huge. There's so much damage. I want to try and calculate how much it is, but I can't do that. Maths is hard, so nice steal from Invidious. Very, very nice steal, and they had to do it, and they did it successfully, so now they're back into this game. But what other objective can they take from this? That duo lane tower is extremely low, so they can go there if they do want to.
They can't get anything because all of Direwolves is now back up. They're just going to be able to protect their lanes, take their own jungle while Direwolves are a little bit on their own back foot. and make sure that Dials don't steal it away. Just get a little bit more gold, a little bit more XP, try and slowly claw their way back into this one. But it's the late game stage now. Everyone on Dials is level 20. Everyone on Invidious is level 20, except for Nick Crick. Yada is got an Ancient Blade here, probably going into Fatalis for some extra sticking to power when he's going aggressive here. And look, now Daiwa's going to start the gold trick, and they've just already taken it. There's just nothing Invidious can do at this point. They've put themselves in too much of a hole.
It's the scaling comp of Isis and Alquang. I mean, Shibalanke and Giannis, such a good scaling comp, as well as the give for the side of Direwolves. And they're in the late game. And Invidious, while they do have the Fire Giant, with an Odin, I mean, late game Odin is not really going to do much other than bring a spears and keep Kiki in place, but he's got so much protection from Richard with the Aegis, with the beads as well. They really have to have a beautiful team fight come out, otherwise it looks like game for Invidious.
But that's all they need much to do, is to use that Ring of Spears. That's purely it, because then Kiki and Mio can't go anywhere. And use his Circle of Protection to heal back up. There's really nothing he can do there. He needs a Geb Shield, obviously, that'll help him stay alive a bit longer, but he just can't heal up. As well as that, look at Jibalanke, only 2 passive stacks at this point in the game.
2? Oh no.
Only 2. Most of the majority of the kills for Invidious have come out of top notch.
And while it's good, I mean, you really want those on the Shibalanke. And I said it before, Rana Barana on the Shibalanke scaling late it's really, really good. But if he's not making use of the passive stacks, then it's not as strong as it could be.
No, it's not, and that's really the hyper carry that they need to go into this latter stage of the game. Late game Shibalanke is where he really shines, and if he can't do that, then it's very detrimental for Invidious, and it's especially harmful that he lost the Fire Giant buff. And now, look, it's Direwolves the ones without the Fire Giant buff who are being aggressive under a Phoenix.
Hello, oh, Blinken Ring of Spears down by Top Notch, and that's onto Kiki. So much damage going down onto him. Circle of Protection did go down, but it didn't keep him alive. Just Rogue secures that one, and Invidious are doing exactly what they need to in this fight. But now Top Notch is caught in the mess of the Direwolves, and it's taken so low. Just Laney gets taken down by Rana Barana. That's another passive stack for him, and the Gib Shield onto Yada. He's trying to get away, and he will be able to get out of the Invidious. Still aggressing though.
That was a great engagement for Invidious. They lost no one there and took down 2 members of Direwolves, take down 3 members of Direwolves now as Yada falls. This is a tremendous fight for Invidious, and now, with only 2 members of Direwolves up, this is when they can start to pressure their objectives. This is when they can take down their tier 2 towers, or even tier 1 left. We could see the pinging coming through on the minimap now. Invidious know that this is their chance to get something here, and this is where they can start to make their comeback.
And Invidious didn't lose anyone in that fight at all. So they played it to absolute perfection there, and now they're sieging that tier 2 that they took down the tier 2 turret. Now onto the Phoenix, who is the defense. It's only Bastet and Gib Evil down as well.
Goodness.
Beautiful. Oh, the sieging. This was all off the back of one team fight for Invidious.
Yeah, and it's the power of Sylvanas as well. All of the heals, and none of the healing reduction on Direwolves was up there other than Richard Castle's weakening curves. Now it looks like Invidious is going to go after this tier 1 tower. Once they get that, they can move on to the tier 2, and then they should just back out. Actually, no. Just take the tier 1 and back out, because everyone on Direwolves except for Yada is up. If they keep going here, it's a little bit too greedy, and they'll get punished for it. Take a buff or 2 and then get out. Or they're just going to get out here, which is okay as well. Just, take what you can safely. Don't overpush, because while yes, you do need to be a little bit risky to get stuff, if you're too risky and you lose 1 or 2 people, it could be game for you.
Yeah, it's at that point where losing 1 person, like you mentioned, can absolutely end the game. Especially, oh wow, just Rogue. He's pushing it just a little bit. Oh, he's got the portals, so he's Giannis. He's so hard to lock down. And Fire Giant back up, and this is going to be another Fire Giant dance started off for both teams. Are we going to see another Godly Steal?
It very well could happen. Notch is really, really strong on his Odin. He knows exactly what the character can and cannot do, knows how to use him to the best effect, and this Fire Giant steal, we saw it last time. It could very well happen again. However, I think Direwolves are going to be more wary of it and will prevent it happening a bit more. They're going to really try and get some more vision around it, but Chuckles is the only one with a ward in his inventory, pops it down now, and that's all the vision they have. We can see Direwolves, all of the towers are actually very pressed up, and Just only has to defend his mid-Phoenix.
Yeah, and that's really not the person that you want to be defending, but you have to. Otherwise, the Titan's going to be taking so much damage, and it's the 80 carry. Oh wow, they're going to go aggressive. Darkest of Nights does go down. Lunge now onto Kiki. He's got the Ring of Spears and Fear No Evil down on towards him, but Beautiful Aegis keeps him alive just for now. Circle of Protection finally going to heal him up, and this is a fight for the Direwolves. There's a through space and time coming out, but not gonna heal anyone. Yada secures a kill onto Top Notch, and they're still aggressing.
Yeah, Nickrick looks like he's going to be taken down here, but blinks through really nicely. Yada leaps down into both Just Rogue and Nickrick at this point. 8 root there from Nickrick. Just Rogue still alive somehow. Yada blinks through and takes him out here. And now this could be the turning point for Direwolves. They take out another member, and they can just push to win. Nickrick is still going, gets hit by the Spirit Ball and taken down by Just Laney. No, sorry, Just Laney took down... who did he take down there? Rana Barana. So, oh, that's going to be game. That's game.
It has to be. Direwolves have to end it right now. Look at the minions going up in their own base, going to deal damage. I mean, this is game. I mean, that's it.
Yep.
One team fight in. And that was beautifully played by the Direwolves right at the end there.
Yep, and that is going to be the Titan falling down. Now, Freemason tried to get a kill there, then hold him out, not to be. Direwolves take that one down in very nice fashion, but Invidious, the comeback was almost there, and we see this so much out of them, where they're down early, come back a little bit, give us a glimmer of hope, and then just fall short.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful steal coming through from Top Notch. Absolutely amazing. And they fought the way they had to. They delayed it out. They forced the respawn timers to be so detrimental for Direwolves. And while they did win a few team fights, that's Invidious, they weren't able to close it out. And it was a good comeback attempt, and it was very well played by both teams, but Direwolves in the end there. I think that came down to Kiki Omio surviving there during that team fight.
The end of that team fight, the beginning of that team fight was the first time his Circle of Protection had healed him up in a long time. He was able, the aggression from Invidious was able to be disrupted enough by Direwolves, where Kiki Bear was able to get out of the Ring of Spears so that it could heal him up. And that allowed him to stay in the team fight and provide those Spirit Balls and Silences to help his team get more damage and more aggression onto the rest of Invidious. If we take a look at some of our stats now, Kiki Omio, while he doesn't have a positive kill to death, does have a positive KDA and has the most damage in the game with 33,000.
Yeah, Al Chuckle's doing very, very well to keep up with that one as well. He was only 4k damage behind. And so, same with Yada, only 3k damage, and all of the Direwolves had... the only close person on Invidious was 29,000, and that was on Rana Barana, who only had... how many kills was it? 3. 3 in that entire
That's still
game.
A really good effort from Rana Barana, showing that he was rotating very often, and the game was in the late game stages of it enough for him to be tanking, chunking down Direwolves. Like, he had Rage online, he had Deathbringer online, Executioner. Those items on a Xbalanca, especially with branching bowlers, can really do a lot of damage. I gotta give props there as well to Top Notch's Odin. It's a really, really strong pick of Invidious, and everyone in the OCE scene seems to struggle with it. They seem to not realize that the Odin Ring of Spears, you have to have some method of getting out of it, or you're just going to die.
Yeah, and it's something during the drafting stage that you pick last pick, because it's not ban worthy, and it's not, you know, meta first pick sort of thing. So you can force the enemy to pick something without a dash, like the Isis, and then pick the Odin, and they can't do anything about it. Like we just saw. But unfortunately...
Yep, so that's going to close us out for game number 1 between Direwolves and Invidious. We're going to take a short break and then be right back straight after this.